In a forgotten corner of the universe, a weary ex-soldier stumbles upon an extraordinary girl covered in secrets. Together, they must escape ruthless gangsters and confront their haunted pasts. As they form an unbreakable bond, they are faced with choices that challenge trust, courage, and the meaning of family. What happens when survival demands sacrificing one's ideals? Don't forget to subscribe. 91% of viewers enjoy our content but forget to hit that subscribe button. By subscribing, you'll stay up to date with our daily sci-fi stories and support a dedicated team of storytellers and content creators who rely on this as their livelihood. The skies above NOX 7 were cloaked in a sullen gray, an endless reminder of the planet's desolate existence. Towering cliffs of craggy rock jutted into the bleak atmosphere, casting dark shadows over the ramshackle structures below. Lifeless factories belched noxious fumes, while the air thrummed with the distant hum of hovercraft traffic, seldom seen but always felt. Dax trudged through the debris-strewn streets, dodging shadows and the occasional unsettling pulse of neon from the drug-infested dens that peppered the alleys. The stench of decay mixed with the reek of desperation lingered in the stale air, an olfactory assault that emphasized the weight of his solitude. Once a soldier, now a scavenger, he had navigated the treacherous circles of this forgotten world where nothing but misery thrived. Each step he took echoed solitude, a muffled reminder of his past life where camaraderie and purpose once filled his days. Dax was a tall figure, his muscles forged from years of combat, yet a weariness clung to him like a second skin. His face, rugged and weather-beaten, spoke of battles fought not just in the physical realm, but within the confines of his very psyche. With his dark hair tousled and his piercing green eyes constantly scanning his surroundings, he was a man molded by a loss, forever haunted by the burdens of his past. As Dax turned a corner, something caught his attention, a soft whimper that sliced through the ambient noise surrounding him. Curiosity piqued, he approached cautiously, his heart racing in anticipation. Eager to break the dull rhythm of his day, he pushed past accumulated debris, his instincts heightened. There, curled against a wall, was Tra, a striking girl with striking features. Her azure skin gleamed under the faint glow of a nearby flickering sign, an otherworldly luminescence that set her apart from this drab environment. But it was her eyes, a vivid cerulean, fierce and expansive like the galaxy itself, that held him transfixed, shining with a spirit undaunted by her condition, as she lacked legs yet radiated an aura of resilience. "Hey, are you all right?" Dax asked, crouching beside her, his voice a mix of concern and uncertainty. The roughness of the concrete pressed against them, a testament to the harshness of their surroundings. "Do I look fine to you?" she snapped back, her tone edged with defiance. The spark of life in her eyes contrasted with the shadows of fear that loomed just beneath the surface. "The Crimson Fangs are searching for me. They will take me again if I stay here." Dax's heart sank at her words. The Crimson Fangs, a name spoken in hushed tones, a gang that thrived on chaos and misery, frequently targeting those vulnerable enough to be preyed upon. A sense of protectiveness stirred within him, igniting an ember of determination. Though her words were laden with peril, there was a fire inside her, a kindred spirit yearning to be seen. "Then we need to get you out of here. I'll help you." A flicker of hesitation crossed Tra's gaze. She was cautious, undoubtedly carrying the weight of betrayal etched into her young heart. Dax could see the battle playing out in her eyes, the lure of hope versus the sting of past betrayals. Days turned into weeks as Dax and Tra navigated NOX 7 together. The abandoned and twisted structures of the once vibrant city loomed over them like ancient sentinels, their decaying forms wrapped in the shadows of an echoed glory. The streets they traversed were riddled with remnants of technology now left to rust, a long-forgotten battlefield entwined with the scars of betrayal and loss. However, the looming threat of the Crimson Fangs never dissipated. Each day was a tightrope walk over a chasm of danger, a dance with fate that brought both fear and exhilaration. TRA recounted dark memories from her past, tales woven with a thread of anguish, tales that could chill even the most steadfast of hearts. They took everything, she confessed one evening as they huddled around a makeshift fire, the glow casting flickering shadows around them. Her voice quivered like the embers, revealing the weight of her trauma. First, they killed my mother right in front of me, her cries echoing in my head. I can still smell the burning flesh, feel the heat of her loss as if it were yesterday. Then they captured me, keeping me as a trophy. I escaped, but the ever-watchful eyes of the Crimson Fangs are never far away. Dax felt anger rising within him, a tempest brewed beneath his calm exterior. Who were these merciless thugs that preyed on the weak, thrived on pain? In the cocoon of firelight, he looked at TRA, her azure skin glowing softly, a stark contrast against the darkness surrounding them. I will fight for you, TRA. I'll make sure they won't touch you ever again, he vowed, his voice a deep rumble against the silence of the night. But what if trusting you makes it worse? She shot back, raw vulnerability creeping into her tone, her fierce facade flickering. He reached toward her, palms open, not a gesture of dominance, but a promise rendered. Together, we will face whatever comes. The world has cast us into the shadows, but that only proves that the light will shine brighter when we find it. For a moment, silence descended upon them, heavy with the promise of their pact. The flames danced, and something indefinable shifted in the air, solidifying the bond they were forging in the midst of chaos. Despite their haunted pasts, a flicker of hope began to ignite, a thread to weave them together through the fabric of their shared struggles. Dax, do you ever think we can truly escape? Tra's voice broke through the tranquility, a note of desperation lacing her words. Her eyes held a whirlpool of emotions, revealing a fragile spirit amidst the strength she wore. I don't know, he admitted honestly, his gaze steady. But we can try. We owe it to ourselves to fight back. Before the sun set, they resumed their journey, moving silently through the abandoned districts of NOXUS 7. As they traversed derelict buildings, Dax's thoughts adorned with memories of muck and blood from past battles, the world around them felt like a desolate tomb. Yet there was beauty embedded within this decay. Plants, resilient and defiant, breached the ground and cracked through the concrete, reclaiming its territory. Did you ever see anything like that in the war? TRA inquired, breaking the silence with an innocent curiosity. Dax chuckled lightly, glancing at the vibrant greenery. No, never. All I ever saw were machines and smoke. Nature doesn't just reclaim, it thrives. It's a powerful reminder that even in the darkest places, life will fight to emerge. He felt a sense of connection to TRA swell within him. Just like you. As the hours drifted into the night, each beat of hope grew more visceral. However, a relentless sense of dread gnawed at them, a storm breaching the horizon as they neared the base of the Crimson Fangs. Eventually, they found themselves beneath a bridge that spanned a dark void, an old transit route mothballed for decades, yet it was said to still pulse with energy beneath. The whispers of the gang echoed ominously in the alleys nearby. They're growing stronger, TRA murmured, her azure skin gleaming faintly under the starlit sky. They'll be coming for us soon. Dax placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder, grounding her momentarily. We'll be ready. But would they? The question lingered in the air like the scent of rain before a storm. Intense, invigorating, and filled with the promise of uncertainty. As they remained hidden, their senses heightened, Tra's mind flickered with flashes of her forgotten life. A simple world before the nightmare began. The sound of laughter, the sweet embrace of a gentle breeze, and the warmth of her mother's hands wrapping around her small body. Memories cascading into a torrent that threatened to overwhelm her. "Dax, promise me something," she whispered urgently. "Anything," he replied, his brow furrowed in seriousness. "Promise me if we find a way out, you won't let them take me again. I can't return to the darkness." Resting his forehead against her own, Dax felt the weight of her plea seep through. "I promise," he vowed. "I will never let them cage your spirit again. You're not alone anymore." After a moment of shared silence, both enveloped in their mutual resolve, Tra began to breathe deeper. As storm clouds swelled over the horizon, a knowing passed between them, the quiet before the inevitable chaos. Finally, Dax broke the stillness, suggesting they seek out Dr. Quint, a brilliant yet eccentric scientist whose name trailed through hushed conversations of the local scavengers. A man rumored to possess peculiar talents that could be of value to them. Dr. Quint lives in the underbelly of the city, right beneath the ruins, Dax explained, his eyes narrowing in thought. He's worked with all sorts of things, from cybernetics to bioengineering. If anyone can help us, it's him. Though hesitant, Tra nodded slowly, driven by the same determination that had led them this far. "Then let's go before the night deepens. We need to be fast." They pressed on through the winding paths of the derelict city, the shadows stretching long and ominous over their figures as they ventured deeper. The air thickened with tension, every sound magnified, a distant clatter, the whisper of the wind like a warning. As they landed in a deserted market district, Dax activated a small scanner he'd salvaged, a device that flickered green before projecting a holographic map. "Just a few blocks more," he murmured, focused on their destination. The holographic display illuminated Tra's features, showcasing the vibrant azure of her skin contrasted against the hazy glow. The heart of NOX-7 pulsed with a chaotic rhythm as Dax and Tra made their way through the neon-lit streets, shadows clinging to them like unwanted memories. The city, a patchwork quilt of crumbling buildings and flickering signs, loomed above as they moved toward their unlikely ally. Dr. Quint's laboratory, hidden behind an unmarked door in one of the more dilapidated districts, was a sanctuary for the outcasts of the universe. It welcomed the peculiar, embracing both genius and madness with equal fervor. As they approached the entrance, a thick fog of steam seeped from a nearby contraption, coiling through the air and swirling around Tra. She shivered, the unease curling within her. "This place feels off." Dax glanced at her, his protective instincts flaring. "You're safe with me, Tra. Dr. Quint is eccentric but trustworthy. He helped my squad in the war when we needed tech to survive the onslaught." As he pushed open the door, a jingle of bells announced their presence. The laboratory was cluttered with strange devices, mechanical limbs, and half-finished inventions scattered across tables under the glow of dim, flickering lights. Dr. Quint, a wiry man with wild gray hair and thick goggles that magnified his large, expressive eyes, was hunched over a mechanical arm that was whirring softly. He looked up abruptly and the twinkle of madness danced in his eyes. "Ah, fresh faces in my realm of wonders. Come, come, join the exploration of innovation," he cackled, his voice bubbling with excitement. He gestured wildly, knocking over an empty flask with a clang. "What brings you to my corner of the cosmos, Dr. Quint?" Dax said, regaining his composure. "We need your help. Tra here." He paused, eyeing Tra's raised brow. "We're looking for a way for her to reclaim her power. The Crimson Fangs will come for her soon." Dr. Quint's expression shifted from elation to focus, his brow furrowing deeply. Crimson Fangs, you say? Those feral fiends? They've been a thorn in my side for far too long. A nuisance, truly. But enough about them. TRA, dear girl, do you know what you possess? What do you mean? TRA asked, curiosity mingled with trepidation. Your essence. It surges within you. An ancient power that harkens back to the times before time. It yearns to be unlocked. Dr. Quint exclaimed dramatically. Imagine possessing legs crafted from molecular alloys, capable of speed and strength beyond anything this universe has ever seen. Legs won't change what happened to me, TRA murmured, battling her doubts, the shadows of her past creeping into her thoughts. But perhaps they can help you reclaim your presence in this cosmos. Dax insisted, his gaze steady. You deserve to fight back, to seize your power instead of living in fear. TRA looked between them, sensing their urgency. Within Dax's eyes, she discovered the echo of her lingering hopes. Might she really regain the strength to stand tall again? All right. Let's do this, she breathed, her resolve curling back into her heart. As weeks passed, what began as an erratic experiment morphed into intense training sessions. Within the confines of Dr. Quint's sanctuary, the air hummed with anticipation. TRA wandered through corridors steeped in the aroma of sizzling components and digital incense as she learned. Eccentric inventions flashed with life, illuminating her path with possibilities. Dr. Quint pored over texts both ancient and futuristic, merging mythology with technology, searching for the secret to unlock TRA's deeply embedded powers. Floating holograms detailed life forms from diverse worlds, illustrating the connected destinies of strength and vulnerability in myriad forms. One evening, as dusk painted the skies a flaming orange, TRA focused on newfound abilities. She extended her hands, and sparkles of energy began to crackle around her fingertips, an unseen force, a gentle pulse of power that resonated with the rhythm of her heart. It feels strange, she admitted, fright and wonder woven in her voice. Like I'm brushing against something vast, but then it slips away. Embrace it, let it guide you, Dax encouraged, his belief unwavering. He stood nearby, arms crossed, silently sharing strength. This is just the beginning. Their training intensified, and soon TRA learned to focus her energy. In one session, she managed to lift a heavy metal slab, her heart throbbing with exhilaration. Each victory built her confidence, and like a blossoming flower, she began to envision herself as a warrior, not just a survivor. But a storm brewed in the shadows. Whispers traveled through the alleyways, sinister rumors of Dax and TRA's activities infiltrating the slums. News of her awakening spread like wildfire, and danger was creeping closer. They were unaware that Nox, the ruthless leader of the Crimson Fangs, was watching them, his cold eyes glinting with cunning. As twilight approached one fateful night, TRA stood in the heart of the lab, a surge of courage flooding her veins. She felt the weight of her past begin to lift, but doubts still nagged at her. What if I can't control it? She asked Dax, her voice barely above a whisper. You will, he replied with steadfast loyalty, his own burdens mirrored in his expression. You've already shown me that you can stand against the darkness. Do you really think I can face them? Or are you just saying that? She searched his eyes for honesty, the fear prompting vulnerability. Dax stepped closer, placing a firm hand on her shoulder. You've faced so much already. What are they compared to everything you've overcome? Nothing. They are nothing. Suddenly, the lab door burst open, slamming against the wall, rattling beakers and disruptors. A figure cloaked in shadows stood silhouetted in the doorway, the familiar presence unmistakable. It was Nox, flanked by a group of snarling fangs, their bodies adorned with weapons gleaming sinisterly in the low light. You've meddled long enough, Dr. Quint, the leader growled, a sadistic grin revealing jagged teeth. Time to claim what's rightfully ours. Panic surged through the room as Dax moved instinctively, positioning himself in front of TRA. "Stay back," he shouted, adrenaline giving him strength. "You'll have to go through me." Nox laughed, a chilling sound that echoed off the metal walls. "How quaint. You think you can shield her from consequence? You foolish soldier." The tension electrified the air as Dax's fists clenched. "TRA, get ready," he whispered, his determination solidifying as the threat drew nearer. As the twin moons of NOX-7 crested the horizon, casting an eerie silver glow over the urban wreckage, the air thickened with tension. Shadows danced across the streets, whispering secrets of the impending chaos. Dax and TRA had retreated to their makeshift hideout, a derelict warehouse long forsaken by time and purpose. The walls, once vibrant with life, were now scarred by the memories of battles fought and lost, much like the inhabitants of this forsaken place. Within the dim confines of the warehouse, Dax paced. His heart raced as he prepared for the inevitable confrontation. The memories of his past, a soldier hardened by countless confrontations, surged within him. However, this time, the stakes were not just about survival. They were about protecting TRA, a girl whose spirit burned with the fury of galaxies yet untouched by time. "Dax, are you sure about this?" Tra's voice interrupted his thoughts, soft but resolute. She sat cross-legged, her azure skin glimmering faintly in the dim light, a contrast to the darkness surrounding them. Her eyes, normally fierce with resolve, flickered with uncertainty. "TRA, this isn't just about you or me anymore. It's about fighting for those who can't fight back," he replied, his voice steady, infused with determination. "You've seen how they operate. This isn't just a gang, they're predators hunting the vulnerable." "But what if," she started, her voice trembling, but he interrupted with a gentle but firm tone. "There are no what-ifs left to consider. It's now or never." Dax approached her, kneeling to meet her gaze. "I won't let them take you. You're stronger than you realize. I've seen the power you hold." A flicker of uncertainty crossed her face, but it was quickly replaced by the fire he had come to admire. "Okay. I trust you," she said, though the tremor in her voice betrayed her composure. As midnight approached, the atmosphere grew charged with anticipation. The distant sound of engines and shouting filled the air, a testament to the arrival of the Crimson Fangs. Under the reign of their leader, Nox, a man whose visage was a tapestry of scars and bruises from decades of violent ascension, they were a vicious pack driven by greed and savagery. Nox had heard whispers of Tra's growing abilities, and those whispers had transformed into a hunting call echoing through the alleyways of NOX-7. Known for his ruthless tactics and an army of enforcers, Nox desired not just TRA but the power she wielded. "Get ready," Dax said as he tightened his grip on the makeshift weapon he had fashioned from salvaged parts, an amalgamation of metal and circuitry, humming with potential. "We're not going to let them catch us by surprise." TRA nodded, her expression hardening into determination, the azure glow of her skin pulsing as she focused her innate energies. Suddenly, a thin slice of light burst through the warehouse's cracked windows, illuminating the encroaching darkness outside. The door rattled violently. It was the confrontation they'd been expecting. The air crackled with energy, a harbinger of the chaos that was about to unfold. Then, as if emerging from a dream, Nox stepped inside, flanked by his lieutenants, brutal beings who thrived on intimidation. Nox's eyes were like flint, devoid of compassion. His presence commanded fear. "Dax, TRA," he bellowed, his voice echoing through the hollow structure, resonating with a mocking glee. "Come out to play." In a fraction of a second, the atmosphere shifted. Dax moved instinctively, positioning himself in front of TRA, shielding her from the onslaught of violence that would soon follow. "This is between you and me, Nox. Take your men and leave her out of this." Nox chuckled, low and sinister. "But Dax, that's where you're wrong. She is the prize." He gestured and the gang surged forward, a tide of fury threatening to engulf them. Dax fought with the ferocity of a cornered animal. The clang of metal on metal reverberated in the air as he engaged one of Nox's henchmen, who rushed him with a jagged blade glinting in the faint light. Their movements were a dance of brutality, each punch and kick fueled by desperation and the primal need to survive. Meanwhile, TRA felt the raw power within her stirring, thrumming in response to the chaos around her. Though fear gripped her heart, the familiar sense of purpose began to take hold. She knew this was her moment. Concentrating, her hands shimmered with azure energy. With one concentrated force, she unleashed her power, cascading waves of luminescent light that exploded from her fingertips, illuminating the dark corners of the warehouse as they collided with the advancing thugs. "Dax," she shouted, her voice ringing clear above the battle. "Keep moving. I'll cover you." Light erupted from her like supernovae, illuminating the darkness and momentarily disorienting the incoming attackers. Dax took advantage, dodging blows and infusing his strikes with newfound fervor. The closer he fought his way through the throng to reach Nox, the more determined he became to protect TRA at all costs. Nox, now aware of the burgeoning threat TRA posed, roared in fury, his focus now solely on her. "You think you can protect her?" He surged through the pandemonium, eyes blazing with malicious intent. In an adrenaline-fueled burst, Dax barreled toward Nox, their eyes locking in a moment of mutual recognition, a predator sizing up his prey. "Stay away from her," Dax barked, launching himself into a devastating punch aimed squarely at Nox's jaw, only for it to be blocked. The impact echoed through Dax's bones, and he stumbled back. Nox retaliated with a swift kick, sending Dax crashing against a metal pillar that groaned under the weight. Blinding pain coursed through him, but he staggered upright. Determination glimmered in his eyes. "TRA, focus," he yelled, his voice strained, but filled with urgency. "Don't let him near you." The battle intensified, as the pandemonium wrapped around them, a storm of sound and fury. Each clash of fists and flicker of power was punctuated by cries of pain and anger, a cacophony of desperation. TRA felt the power coursing through her veins, igniting every nerve ending. Her gaze locked on Nox as he bore down on Dax. With a surge of will and an indomitable spirit rising within her, she extended her arms outward and unleashed another wave of energy. A blast of brilliant light erupted from her hands, illuminating the entire warehouse in a radiant flood. With a final pulse of her powers, TRA overcame Nox, sending him staggering back as the shadows of the alley swallowed him whole. The tang of victory mingled with the acrid scent of smoke in the air, and chaos slowly receded into an unsettling silence. They had won, but not without costs. Dax lay injured, his body aching, yet his heart swelled with pride for TRA's courage, which blazed like a supernova against the dark canvas of their reality. As dawn painted the horizon in hues of gold and lavender, Dax struggled to his feet, every movement sending fresh pain through his ribs. TRA was by his side, her azure skin glowing faintly in the soft light, a testament to the raw energy still pulsing within her. She looked at him with something akin to reverence, the kind that had the power to heal even the most profound wounds. "You did it, TRA, Dax said, his voice a rough whisper. "You're not just a survivor, you're a warrior." "I couldn't have done it without you," she replied, her voice trembling, tears glistening like stars in her fierce, yet vulnerable eyes. "You believed in me." In that quiet moment, amidst the debris of their battle, Dax felt an overwhelming surge of emotion. He reached out, gently brushing a lock of hair from Tra's face. Would you want to be a family? He asked, the words tumbling out of him with a desperation he could no longer contain. I want to adopt you. You deserve a home, Tra. Tra's expression shifted as she processed his words. For a fleeting moment, uncertainty clouded her gaze, fear mingling with the hope that began to blossom. I would like that, she said softly, a smile breaking through her tears, revealing the purity of her spirit. I would like that very much. In that instant, they stood side by side, ready to embrace a new life together, a symbol of hope in a galaxy fraught with darkness. The journey ahead wouldn't be easy. They both knew the threats lurking in the shadows were far from extinguished. But armed with love, resilience, and an unbreakable bond, they understood they were ready to face whatever challenges awaited. The sun ascended higher, washing away the remnants of night. The streets of NOXUS 7 began to stir with life, though their future felt uncertain. Dax and Tra turned from the alley, stepping onto the main thoroughfare lined with crumbling buildings. The vibrant neon signs flickered to life, casting their unsettling glow over the scenes of daily existence. I wonder what today will bring, Tra said, a hint of wonder in her voice. Whatever it is, we'll face it together, Dax assured her. His own heart raced at the possibilities. With every step forward, he felt the weight of his past lifting, making way for new beginnings. Let's promise to meet at the old hideout where Dr. Quint's lab is, he continued. He'll have more ideas for you, after all, he's still eager to experiment. Dax, Tra laughed, a sound that bubbled with joy and lingered in the air like a melody. You can't possibly think I'd want anything more attached to me, can you? Maybe a little recalibration? He teased back, despite the grip of anxiety curling around his gut. I mean, I can't have you zapping enemies without a proper strategy. They strolled along the streets, weaving through vendors selling everything from tangled electronic components to lush, iridescent fruits that sparkled in the light. The atmosphere was oddly festive, as if the city itself was celebrating their victory without knowledge of what had transpired in the shadows. However, peace felt transient. The echoes of Nox's men still thrummed in Dax's mind. He glanced sideways at Tra, whose eyes were bright with unbridled excitement. As she inhaled the atmosphere, something shifted within him, a burning determination to protect her from ever falling into darkness again. What do you want, Tra? Dax asked suddenly, catching her off guard. Now that everything's changed, what do you want out of life? She paused, her enchanting eyes narrowing with thought, reflecting a kaleidoscope of everything she'd lost, and everything she might gain. I want to know my powers, to understand what I can do. I want to feel free, not just from the past, but from the chains that hold so many of us back. What if you could be a protector to others, too? Dax suggested, his insight blossoming. Help those still trapped, just like you were? I'd like that, she affirmed, feistiness coursing back into her voice. To show others they're not alone. Dax nodded, elated by her response. He could already envision the day in the distant future when they'd stand unified against oppression, becoming champions for the downtrodden, more than just survivors stumbling through this war-torn world. They approached Dr. Quint's lab, hidden beneath layers of chipped paint and dulled lights. As they descended into the underground sanctuary of computation and invention, a surge of anticipation filled the air. Flickering monitors illuminated the cluttered space, revealing the mad genius of their host. "Ah, you've returned," Dr. Quint exclaimed, nearly toppling over a stack of beeping gadgets. His wild hair and fidgety demeanor struck a bizarre contrast against his profound brilliance. "I have a new concept, a prototype I want to run by you. It's crucial you see it before." "Hold on." Dax interrupted, unable to contain his enthusiasm. Before we dive into gadgets, we need to talk. Quint blinked, his confusion turning slowly into realization. Ah, indeed. The essence of your journey has altered. You've forged a bond of significance here. He gestured dramatically to an enormous board cluttered with blueprints. Speak, young ones. What innovations do you wish to pursue in this brave new world? Before anything else, I want to harness these powers, TRA said, stepping forward with a newfound assertiveness. I want to ensure they're used for good. I want to protect those in need. Very well, very well. Quint clapped his hands together, his eyes gleaming with fervor. We shall construct a training regimen, and I will need to examine the energy within you. This will be pivotal. As Quint launched into the scientific details, Dax observed TRA flourish, her excitement wrapping around him like a warm embrace. She engaged with Quint, her confidence radiating, the strength Dax had witnessed emerging in waves. In those moments, he recognized that her past would not define her. She would transform her scars into armor, wielding them for benevolence. Hours passed like minutes, the lab buzzing with newfound energy. Every cog, every tool, and every theory intermingling harmoniously as they plotted their future. Dax's doubts began to dissipate because here, in this chaotic yet brilliant sanctuary, he felt the fabric of family weaving together. Ready for a test run? Quint's voice broke through his reflections, the brilliance of invention in his tone as he adjusted the devices before them. Test run? TRA echoed, her brows arching, but inside, a thrill raced through her. Yes, let's harness that energy inside you, TRA. Quint beckoned, the unquenchable enthusiasm pulsing in every word. We'll turn chaos into purpose. As TRA positioned herself in the center of the lab, a shimmering circle surrounded her, a force field glowing with flickers of vibrant colors. Dax's heart raced. You got this, TRA. You are magic. With a concentrated breath, TRA summoned her energy, unleashing a torrent of light cascading outward. The lab illuminated, walls shaking to the rhythm of her power, vibrating with life as if the universe itself celebrated her birth into this new existence. Quint hurried to document data, his voice barely audible above the hum of creation. Incredible. The energy is interconnected, pulsing with untapped potential. Just imagine the prospects. Dax stood mesmerized, watching TRA shine brighter than he had ever seen, her pain distilling into purpose as she rediscovered herself completely. This was her moment, free from shadows and chains, standing tall as a beacon of hope. They trained together until exhaustion threatened their resolve. As the lab grew dim with the settling day, TRA turned to Dax, breathless but spirited. What's next? Dax smiled warmly, reaching for her hand. Next, we build our family, start creating the life we choose. Dawn would usher a new reality into their world, shaped not solely by the scars of the past but by the adventurous spirit fully ignited within TRA and their shared resolve. In the vastness of the universe, the threads of their destinies were woven together, a tapestry of compassion, strength, and unwavering loyalty. A silence fell over the lab, filled with promise and anticipation. As they stood together, Dax realized the greatest discovery was not simply the gadgets they would create or the battles they would fight, but the bond born through trust and perseverance. Family, he whispered, letting the weight of the word settle like a softly cast spell. In that moment of profound understanding, they recognized that it was never merely about surviving. It was about living fiercely, loving recklessly, and daring to embrace all that lay ahead. Their story had just begun, and with each heartbeat, they vowed to navigate the stars, side by side, hand in hand, forever delving into the uncharted, armed with the power of their newfound family. If you liked this story based on real events, subscribe to our channel and don't forget to like it. Here you can dive into a different reality every day, where anything can happen. Comment below what kind of story you would like to hear here. Thank you very much for your attention. We are the Sci-Fi family.